Hey, what's good? If you guys are just tuning in, this is episode number 44, part 3 of Don't Just Get Up, Wake Up, with your boy Zodog. In today's topic, we will be covering the Roswell UFO crash landing in 1947. Was it real, or was it just a weather balloon? Alright, let's get it cracking.
When various listening and sensory equipment was attached, which the military posits could possibly be misidentified as a UFO.
If it was 600 feet, it's going to be a huge pile of debris. There's going to be a lot of weird shit there. You're going to be very confused.
At a glance, from far away, I'd be like, holy shit, look at that field littered with debris. No. And
you would walk up to it and be like, the end is nigh! You'd go running through town ringing a bell.
No.
The Martians are here! Lock yourselves in your basements!
What I would do is maybe I'd do that running towards it. Then I'd get close and be like, oh, it's just fucking tongue depressors and Elmer's glue. Because that's what it was. Balsa wood, sticks.
You gotta keep it light if you want to float.
That's not alien materials, is what I'm getting at. I would obviously get close and be like, oh, this is just human shit. In February of 1994, the General Accounting Office of the U.S. Congress initiated an audit at the request of New Mexico Congressman Steve Schiff, a UFO skeptic.
And forgive me, this may be part 4. I believe it is part 4. Alright? I'm a PH. I make mistakes sometimes. So forgive me. Watch it and then love it. Love it!
All government records relating to the Roswell incident and determine if these records were handled properly. The report was published by the U.S. Air Force in 1995, titled, quote, The Roswell Report, Fact versus Fiction in the New Mexico Desert, end quote. The findings of the audit supported the theory that the debris found in 1947 was from a balloon used in Project Mogul, and found no evidence that aliens or alien spacecraft were involved. The report concludes that Marcel and Blanchard's original flying saucer press release was in part an overreaction, and in part due to the fact that flying saucer was a new term that didn't yet have a clear meaning. Bullshit.
Well, that's fair.
Are you fucking kidding me?
The flying saucer at that point didn't necessarily mean space alien. It was just literally like, that looks like the thing I put my tea on, but it's levitating. Right?
What? You're gonna say that they didn't know what they meant when they said flying saucer?
I mean, it hasn't always been in like the national lexicon. There weren't people in ancient Rome saying flying saucer.
In 1997, the Air Force released another report titled, quote, The Roswell Report, Case Closed, end quote, in which they offered this possible explanation for claims to alien bodies found at the crash site. In the mid-1950s, the military tested the effects of parachute jumping on humans by dropping human-like dummies over New Mexico. The dummies had latex or plastic skin and could be mistaken for alien bodies by witnesses at the Roswell crash. But if these dummy drops were in the mid-1950s, how could this possibly explain the Roswell incident that preceded it by several years? The military has an answer for that too. Air Force Colonel John Haynes explains that during the recounting of events decades later, details, quote, tend to become compressed, end quote, suggesting both he and the Air Force actually believe that witnesses are mixing up events from the mid-1950s with what were perhaps the most horrifying memories of their lives years earlier.
Yeah, we've all done it.
No.
Right?
No, I mean, sure, if I'm trying to remember what I had for breakfast a year ago, yeah, I'm going to be a little foggy on that. But if I'm remembering that time I saw alien bodies thrown from a wreckage, I think I'm going to remember that quite clear and when it happened. Another discrepancy is the fact that the bodies are repeatedly described as, quote, little, end quote, often 4 feet or less, yet the dummies used in these drops were 6 feet tall. It's unclear how this contradiction is also an effect of time compression. That being said, one interesting tidbit from the report is the fact that upon requesting files from the Roswell Air Force Base from the year of the Roswell incident in 1947, it was found that all records from that time, from January through October 1947, had been destroyed And even more suspicious, the person or organization that had destroyed these files and the authority under which they had done so were not indicated.
No,
This is a reach.
that's a bit of a reach.
There, that's all I wanted to hear.
No, it's a bit of a reach.
Some of this is going to be baloney, other bits I might not be so sure.
This one is certified fresh.
Yeah,
That's a fresh cut.
I'll take a bite of that.
That's a fresh cut. And with that, let's get into the second theory, that the government engaged in a cover-up to hide knowledge of alien life. Well, actually, before I get into it, I do have one more thing.
What's... This is not usually part of the thing. What are you doing? Are you putting on a tinfoil hat?
Before I get into this,
Just
I
checking
would
the
like to
time.
preface this theory with the fact that most of this is based off interviews with those who claimed to have eyewitness testimony. The amount of witnesses is said to be more than 600 people, ranging from civilian to high-level military. Some details of these stories vary between sources, so we've chosen to mainly focus on interviews conducted by two respected researchers named Thomas J. Carey and Donald R. Schmidt for their book, quote, Witness to Roswell, Unmasking the 60-Year Cover-Up, end quote. And while most skeptics will scoff at that notion, consider this. If there were hundreds of witnesses to a murder, all recounting similar details of the crime, would you doubt they were telling the truth?
I guess it depends on the circumstances.
No. If there are hundreds of
I
people...
just don't want you to have any satisfaction.
You know I'm making a good point there. If there's hundreds of
I'm not going to give it to you.
No, you're gonna get... You already...
No,
by you
depends.
saying I'm not giving the satisfaction means you internally want to agree with that.
If there's only eyewitness proof and no actual proof of the murder,
Sure, if there's 5 people, but if there's 600 that have high-level military fucking people within that group...
no blood though. No blood, no evidence, no nothing.
There's 600 people,
Just-
why would they all lie?
The more riled up you get right now, the worse you come off because of this accessory.
Yeah, I realize...
It's really not helpful.
I realize now that this was a very bad call. I thought it'd be really funny, but now I realize I look like a fucking fool. Let's begin by going over suspicious details around the time of the crash, particularly the contradiction between the official record and eyewitness testimony. When Mac Brazel took some of the crash debris to the sheriff, debris that crash site witnesses described as otherworldly, Brazel also reportedly admitted something significant. According to a local radio personality, Frank Joyce of the KGFL radio station, Brazel admitted that the crash site was likely a UFO, and more importantly, that there were alien bodies on the scene. According to Judd Roberts, a minority owner of KGFL radio station, this admission would be recorded later, but KGFL did not air the interview due to phone calls from the FCC and U.S. Senator Dennis Chavez, urging them not to.
Or if you got a crazy guy still spouting lies, yeah, I'll put a stop to him.
Or you got a very sane guy spouting truth.
Yeah, or that.
As detailed before, the military would issue an incendiary press release saying they had a flying saucer, only to correct themselves a day later. Like the military, Brazel would also recant any statements made about UFOs at this time. According to researchers Carey and Schmidt, shortly after Brazel's new statements, neighbors said Brazel purchased a brand new pickup truck and left his job as a rancher to start a business in Alamogordo, New Mexico. Also suspicious in Carey and Schmidt's findings were testimonies from locals and Brazel's family that revealed Brazel was detained by the military around this time, further suggesting
I'm going to stop this right here because I know you guys are getting intrigued. But this is more like a Law and Order type of cross-triangulation, putting together the dates, the suspects, and so forth, and basically putting them side by side with all the testimonials, and then seeing all the pressure of the newspapers recanting on what they said earlier. So you got to just use your own mind and ask yourself, why would the government, spend so much time and energy saying it is a cover-up, saying it's not a cover-up, putting pressure on the rancher, putting pressure on the newspapers to recant what they pressed out there to the public. So, something for you to think about. this is the end of part 3 / part 4. I'm not sure because I've been doing so many parts. It's been a long, long day. No excuse. I'll tighten up on that. This is the conclusion of episode number 44. We're going to go to part 5. And I'll show you guys a little bit more of this video on YouTube about the UFO crash landing in Roswell, New Mexico in 1947. Alright, love you guys. Stay tuned for part 5.